Good. Okay. Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the March 14, 2023 meeting of the Board of Directors for the Waynesboro Area School District. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we start our meeting, we would like to do a moment of silence in memory of Slade Noggle, a learner who passed last Tuesday. Slade's funeral was this morning. Thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with roll call this evening.
Mrs. Harold.
Here.
Mrs. Sullivan.
Here.
Mrs. Strite.
Here.
Mrs. Marvin.
Here.
Mrs. Zimmerman. Mrs. Miles.
Here.
Dr. Royer.
Here.
Mrs. Fortney.
Here.
And Mr. Smith.
Here. Okay, let's go ahead for approval of the agenda. Can we have a motion? Well,
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You? Now we move to the approval of our last meeting. We have a motion to approve the meeting for February 28th.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we move to our superintendent's report. Dr. Sterner?
Thank you. I don't want to take anything away from Riley or Mary today, so I will talk about more school-related items as opposed to student activities. We began kindergarten registration this week. The team is out and about at the Waynesboro Senior High School, and there's a lot of excited friends getting ready to start kindergarten. I believe earlier you saw a feature of, we had two admin who attended the Millersville University Job Fair in anticipation of hiring new teachers. And we are in preparation stages for math and literacy camp this summer to be held either at Fairview or Summit View Elementary, as well as looking at, just getting things started for summer school. So we're up and running. Thank you.
Thank you. Any public comment?
No.
Okay.
He raised his hand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, he didn't sign it.
Well, you
But they have to hear
need to.
Mayor Dixon.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir. So everybody can
Just
hear.
be careful.
That's no problem.
you.
This only take about 10 seconds. Your website needs to be updated. Still have Dr. Klein, the superintendent, and Rita as assistant. So someone needs to update the website.
Oh, I haven't.
Thank you.
In what area?
Oh, yeah.
I will clarify with you. I know that Deb Forrester has updated at least one or two pages. So I will follow up with you. Thank you.
I knew what.
Okay, great. Thank you. No, I know I transitioned over to the one page, but I'm sure there's other places that are highlighted incorrectly. Thank you, though.
Thank you. And thanks for joining us this evening. Let's move on to board reports.
Budget met yesterday. One thing to note, we are rescheduling our April meeting to Monday, April 17th. Our original meeting was Monday the 10th, but the school is closed that day. So rather than bringing in folks on a closed day, we figured we'd move it back a week to the 17th. We did have some more preliminary numbers from the state government, and so we're as always, those are preliminary numbers. We never are sure what the government's gonna give us until they actually give it to us. And so that always makes the budgeting process interesting. Next board meeting, the team is going to put together a presentation just to kind of give a preliminary overview of the budget process. So more on the more to come when it comes to the budget. And I think the only thing I'll say is that everyone's experienced this past year when it comes to their own personal finances, especially dealing with costs in inflation and transportation. Everyone feels that personally. School districts feel that as well. And so our team is doing a diligent job, I think, in trying to make sure that we are spending where it needs to be while managing hard costs that we don't often have a say in.
Thank you.
Academic committee meeting is going to change. We are not going to have it on the 29th of March, which was the original scheduled date. Now we're going to have it on April the 4th at 3 o'clock.
Facilities meeting is Tuesday, next Tuesday, the 21st at 5:30 here in this room. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you. Let's move on to our student board representatives report, Mary and Riley.
I'll make you do it by yourself.
It's just Mary tonight.
I
don't look cute enough. Matilda show that went on this weekend, and it was a huge success, and their hard work definitely paid off. They've worked hard for the past 6 months to be able to do this show, and then on Sunday after the show, senior night happened. It was mainly for the cast members, and how they were just basically to show how close the cast was, and like everybody got roses. I'm pretty sure the cast bought the producers roses, and the producers bought someone roses. I can't really remember, but then since the winter sports are closing, softball and baseball are now starting up their seasons. And then the Rotary speech contest is tomorrow. I don't remember how many people signed up for that, but there is. Yeah, I was gonna
Thank
say it's
you.
a lot.
And then student council is helping out at the Mother to Mother Luncheon in support of autism awareness. It's in support of the mothers whose children are autistic or on the spectrum of some sort. And then in May, we are taking the steps for the Strides Against the Stigma walk, which is it's like the walkathon, but it's going to raise money for suicide awareness, and hopes to start a club next year to support everybody in that with suicide. And then Science Olympiad is coming up. It's next Saturday at Millersville University. And then the Color Guard Family Showcase is March 31st at 7 p.m. at the Washes Gym. It's free, and all their meets were away, so this is so that we can show the community all of their shows and their performances. And so far, they've gotten first place in all their competitions. Everything.
Right.
Matilda was fantastic. Every single person on that stage was just fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks, Mary. Let's move on to business, Part C, student waivers, Dr. Deshawn.
We're asking if us in executive.
Okay, so there's a motion to approve student waivers discussed during executive session.
Move to approve. Second.
Right, any questions? No? All those in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Next, move to personnel. Dr. DeShawn.
Yeah, you'll notice there's several attachments there. One is retirements and you'll notice there in the retirements, Charles Atkinson and Gary Brett, there's 94 years of service between
wow,
like each of them individually. Effective years of service, respectively at 36, 34, and 20. And then there's a number of other, there's two assignments, and then there. Next attachment is a summer schools at the happen. And then we're asking also Ben Burke to a mathematics position at the grade 6 at the middle school. Angeles and worthy of recommendation, and then the last one is a list of different types of leaves.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the personnel as listed?
Move to approve.
second,
Okay, all those in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Thank you.
I'm done talking now. Sorry about that.
Okay, so
Pardon me, is anyone able to see the votes?
it just popped.
They're just, I think this being a little slower tonight.
Okay,
yeah, there we go. Yeah, it is slow. Okay.
okay, so we move down to van drivers. Is that Mr. Hostman? Mr. Hostman is joining us via Zoom.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. We have 3 drivers for the district. We have a lot of needs with moving students in different locations, and they use the district vans. They go through a process where we review their insurance to make sure it meets the criteria. And these three drivers are needed, and they do meet the criteria. So we're asking for approval.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve van drivers as listed?
Move to approve.
Second,
Any questions, comments? Okay, all those in favor?
I,
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Now our 2023-24 school calendar.
Thank you, Mr.
Sorry.
Smith. So in front of you, you have, I believe it's draft number 8. At this point, I have completed my survey. The irony is, my Borough Blast sent out another reminder the following week because I did not end it. So now I had a total of 705 people responded.
oh,
So it was still very close. 49% agreed that they wanted to use FID days. 45% said use snow days and FID days. So today, this year, we're going to do a compromise of 2 snow days with the remainder of the other days being FID days. So what the calendar affords us this year is the ability to have an extended Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, as well as an Easter break. So I think it's good that we only approve calendars 1 year at a time, even though it is a tremendous amount of work. So we'll have an opportunity to evaluate moving forward about the continuation of the FID days. It's my understanding that we're allowed to use them next school year, but the following school year, it may or may not be an option. So recommendation is to approve the school calendar as listed. I will be working with the admin team to follow up then with some early dismissal days for data analysis.
Do you have a motion to approve the 23-24 school calendar?
Move to approve.
Second.
Questions, comments?
No
Thanks to all the
question.
people who put in the hard work to get this finalized. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So now, first reading of policy 204, which is the attendance in policy 233, suspension and expulsion.
Dr. Royer, do you want me to?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I can do it if, I mean,
I was still looking at the great calendar.
okay.
I don't ever recall seeing a school calendar where you had 3 full weeks off. Well, yeah, the Easter's a full week, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Thanksgiving. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know that took a lot of work. All right, going on to board policies, we're looking for just discussion, if there's any discussion on the first reading of policy 204, attendance, and policy 233, suspension and expulsion. We've gone through these with the administrative team and the policy committee, looking at PSBA guidelines as well as items that we have in the policy that are unique to our district. So it's my understanding we do not need to vote on first readings. This is just any discussion items, correct?
Okay.
Questions?
I see under delegation of responsibility, there's a bunch of stuff crossed out. Is that because like down there, we don't have an attendance officer and
Right,
home
and
and school visitors and
right, and
So-
it's my understanding from Aaron, I'm still kind of learning the how we do it here. Is that when that's sent to PSBA, that'll all be eliminated and cleaned up.
okay,
Okay, anything that's crossed out.
right.
And I kind of missed the policy committee meeting will be meeting this Thursday at 1 o'clock.
Questions? Thanks, Dr. Royer. Let's move on to SOAR, Student Options for Acquiring Resiliency, MOU.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. If you remember earlier this school year, Dr. Klein had discussed with the board the ability to join essentially a consortium of other Franklin County schools. Essentially, the Shippensburg School District is holding the contract or the agreement, and we have allotted for the remainder of this school year to secure 5 slots within the SOAR program. As the agreement reads, it talks about it beginning, I believe in February. However, we are starting this week, so the billing will be prorated accordingly. So this program is new in the sense that it's looking at the ability to help service some of our learners who need additional supports outside of the school setting. We will be sharing slots with different school districts with the understanding that if we do not utilize all our slots, we can essentially allow other districts to use slots. So this year, the agreement was to utilize the 5 slots. And it's my understanding at this point, we have identified students for those slots. And then I believe next year you'll see the agreement probably in June for a total of 8 slots for the 23-24 school year.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the SOAR agreement?
Can you just review for me? Okay, move to approve.
Okay,
Second.
okay. Question?
Can you just, it's been a while. Can you just review with me? Has this program employed teachers? Are these students working online?
They have teachers on site.
Okay.
However, the instruction would be delivered via if we would be sending our students, they would be supported via Apex.
Okay, and so from what I understand today from Mr. Bigler, it starts tomorrow, it opens?
Technically, it did start on Monday. Our
Okay.
students are scheduled to go tomorrow.
Okay,
We have some students identified from middle school and high school.
okay.
Any other questions?
Is this students that we might have had to send to Newville or further, and this is a closer, is that one of the
So this is
benefits of this?
Yeah, so this is not an ADY program. However, it is an alternative program for students who have maybe demonstrated additional needs from an academic as well as a behavioral perspective. So the agreement would be to, provide the schooling for a period of time it could be 45 days, it could be less. Ms. States is essentially overseeing it at this point. It's a consortium of other schools in the hopes to try to service our students outside of the school setting in a different location.
Will this potentially reduce River Rock slots for next year then?
We're still in the process of negotiating those slots. I think it is unique where it is in this particular case, River Rock is able to service some of our special education
Right.
students with more pronounced needs.
Right.
So yeah, I would definitely look at how we could balance,
Yeah.
the need for additional slots. So.
Any other questions? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so let's move on to dual enrollment MOU with Harrisburg Community College.
Thank you. So ironically, this does not require necessary board approval. However, it's just putting it in front of the board. We continue to explore more and more options for dual enrollment. This is with Harrisburg Community College. The interesting thing is with this, as well as the other one that I'm going to speak of next, is from Penn State Mont Alto. That the state of Pennsylvania is now requiring that we upload any dual enrollment requirements within our school district system. And there's a possibility because we were able to get the grant information in as a result of Mr. Holtzman's great work on Friday afternoon, that our students are potentially eligible for additional grants. So this is something that's relatively new. It was just announced like probably in January. We had to apply and then we had to complete a grant application. With that understanding, we need to make sure that all our dual enrollment agreements are featured accordingly. So the recommendation is to approve the agreement with Harrisburg Area Community College, or not, I'm sorry, you don't have to approve it. It's just an FYI.
Okay.
So I don't know if Dr. McCallum wants to speak to how many different universities are we now connected with? Probably close to 5. Okay, so very excited about the continued expansion of opportunities for our learners.
I have a couple of questions. So my first question is, are you trying to, this is actually Dr. McCown, are you trying to target like certain kids for certain institutions? Or do you just kind of open it up to anybody? Do you see, for example, a community college course versus a WVU course? Are they getting guidance on that, or are they just kind of like?
Sure.
For this?
So when it came to the WVU agreement, that was looking at the best college and the high school option for our students for the course that we were currently offering, which was college algebra. So we felt that that was a better scenario. It was also actually cheaper for our students than Hagerstown Community College was. So students are still eligible to take HCC classes on their own. We have students that are doing that now, but that's the only offering that we have at the moment that's like in the school. And then as we were researching other options for that, we also were looking at WVU. So they have different requirements for our teachers who are going to serve as their instructors. So they do require that the teacher has a master's degree in their content area, which our geography with universities is hard for that, because you'd be talking about a teacher probably having to take a sabbatical in order to go to a bigger university that's going to offer like a master's in mathematics or master's in science or something like that. So, but Ms. Kipe does have her master's in family and consumer science. So we were able to get the nutrition class that she was currently teaching approved through them. The Harrisburg Community College one that we're seeing tonight came at the request of a parent. So this is intended for one student because like that parent asked about it, and they're basically looking at it as an alternative to our credit advancement opportunities, kind of a double dip for their child. But it would so the university therefore said, well, we'd like to, like, we've had a relationship with Harrisburg Area Community College before, but we'd like to just reaffirm that. So that's what this paperwork is for. So when the students are doing course selection, I appreciate the the counselor's heart for our students. This was not actually my suggestion, but they were very passionate about it and I was willing to support them. So in the past, when we've done course selection entry, the counselor has gone to a class and they've done 30 kids at the same time. What they're actually trying to do now is short appointments with every single student. So there will be those individual conversations, and then they're always available to meet with students as well. So, and then Mr. Hoffman, our college and career advisor, has been very helpful to a lot of our students. I know Riley talked about that previously in front of the board, talking about there's a definite need to make sure that the university you're going to for these early to college doesn't make sense for what you want to do. So if a student's coming to us and saying they want to go to Shippensburg University, Hagerstown Community College makes a lot of sense because they have an articulation agreement. But if a student's saying they want to go to a bigger name university, then they may want to look at another university. So I know Ms. Sawicki has also, we have several students taking classes at Brigham Young University online. So that brings me to at least 5 or 6. I know there's some that do Shepherd. So really any university that's willing to take one of our students, we roll with that.
Okay, so then my other question is, so they're taking those online, like the
Mhm.
BYU kids, okay?
Mhm,
But for Mrs. Kite, let's say she's
Mhm.
teaching her course,
mhm.
she writes the curriculum or does she?
No,
get
we
the
are
curriculum?
required to use the Pitt curriculum. So part of what I had teachers do on one of our in-service days was I presented every single department with the college and the high school offerings from Pitt. And I said to them, please look this over. If you feel that this is in alignment with what you're doing, or you're willing to make those tweaks and you want to pursue that, you can. So at this time, she was the one who was interested in doing that. There's a couple other courses that I'd like to look at, but we also had a big project with scheduling. So I wasn't necessarily pushing everybody else it was just totally staff choice for this year. I'd like to look at expanding it. I think there's a lot of advantages for our students with that, but it is like, for example, like I have to cover her to go to a training at Pitt coming up in May. So there's some things that we have to work through logistically.
But she's our only teacher that's
For Pitt.
teaching.
Correct. Yep. Mhm.
Do we have others that are teaching for other institutions?
Not through Pitt. That was the only course that the teachers wanted to move forward with. West Virginia University is our other college in the high school. So those are our only 2 courses that students can take at Waynesboro High School and get their credit. I guess like if they did like an HCC class online, they could be in a study hall. But other than that,
Okay.
they're like going to the class.
Right.
West Virginia University for the math classes, because of their accreditation, they require that their professor be the instructor. Like this is terminology that's in their accreditation document. And then our certified teacher is the facilitator. So that is a requirement that we have a certified teacher and not a paraeducator in the room.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right, we certainly appreciate the variety of offerings for students, especially considering the high cost of college universities these days and having kids not graduate with tremendous debt. So those things are crucial. Thank you. Let's move on to the next one was the agreement, I think, dual credit agreement with Penn State Mont Alto.
Yeah, so it's noted as Penn State Mont Alto, but it's actually Penn State University in general. So, and then if you read through, it's again, another dual enrollment. In this particular case, it talks about students enrolled in the program receive tuition adjustment from the university that is equivalent to a 50% reduction of the in-state rate. So, this is another agreement, that we would like to move forward with. So, questions on?
Any questions?
No questions. This is a comment. I had the privilege of participating in this program when I was a student in high school. Granted, I went to State High and State College, and so it was right next door for me. But I think this is again another tremendous opportunity for our students. And I went to Penn State and I walked in the door already having college credits under my belt. So these opportunities I think are invaluable for our students.
We move down to the McClure Company Agreement, Mr. Holtzman.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So this is the Guaranteed Energy Savings Agreement with McClure Company. This is the formal agreement. We did 2 board meetings ago, I believe we issued the notice to proceed. That was to make sure that we could get equipment in time here for this summer. This is the project, again, for those who may not have been aware of this, but we've been working on this as a district for probably about a year to a year and a half now at this stage. It has worked through the board and the facilities committee several times, several different iterations. To identify what projects we were going to do. This is using stimulus money. So this is federal stimulus money, one-time money to do some capital projects in the district. So there'll be some energy savings associated with these projects, as well as the fact that we as a district won't have to use local funds to do these projects, which are needed. In many cases, we're talking about windows that are 50 years old. We're talking about roofs that are no longer in warranty and things of that nature. The solicitor had to go through one more set of steps, put some additional caveats in here in the agreement that would actually protect the district, which is a good thing. McClure did agree to those items from a warranty and a guarantee perspective. And again, we're asking for the board's approval on this formal agreement.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the Guaranteed Energy Savings Agreement with the McClure Company?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, the 2023-24 CSIU e-service rates. Postman?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So this is our financial and our HR software that we use in the district. We are not expanding at this point the products or the services that they provide. This is really just a renewal of the annual agreement, which is how we've always handled this one. We have removed different options over the years. That's based on not having a need for the census data anymore, purchasing and some other modules that they would typically have. So we've been trying to keep the costs down a little bit, but expand the functionality at the same time. So again, this controls our financial and our HR software, and we're asking for approval. I would say at one point I could tell you that half the school districts in Pennsylvania use this software, but I can't necessarily tell you that that's the number today. I'd have to go back and refresh that number.
Okay, so is there a motion to renew the Finance and Human Resources Software System with the Central Susquehanna Intermediate Unit at a cost of approximately $52,000, $52,300?
Move to approve.
Second.
Questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're coming back to you again. True Cut Mowing.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. True Cut Mowing, just as a reminder, a little bit of history is that True Cut Mowing has been the district's vendor contractor for many years, probably, I want to say 7 to 10 years, at least 7 years, as long as I've been here, but I think longer than I've been here. The last time we put this out to bid as a district, we received one bid that was from True Cut Mowing, and they even lowered their cost by 10%. So it was a very generous offer of them. We entered into a 5-year agreement, and there were no escalations in the agreement whatsoever. Recently, though, the owner has reached back out to us. I think the pressure with labor rates and the pressure of ongoing fuel costs, which of course mowing uses a good bit as well, have really kind of pushed in that direction. I think, the owner is really requesting to maybe reassert the 10% that was initially cut as part of this agreement, and take that back. It's about $7,300 per year. Certainly they would continue, I'm sure, working under the current agreement, but they do a great job for us. If we had to put it out to bid again, I don't know what price we would get, most likely, if we would get anyone else to bid the service and work. So we kind of reviewed this and looked at this. I know everywhere else, as Mr. Marvin had said earlier, we're seeing inflation everywhere. Our contract for transportation, for example, is based on a factor with inflation, and that has went up, I think it's 14% over the last 2 years, and will probably go up another 7% next year, again, from an inflation perspective. So to kind of put this 10% back in place and leave it in place until the end of the contract, I think it's a fair request, and we're asking for approval of it.
Okay, so the motion is to approve an increase in the True Cut mowing contract back to the original rates pre-contract. This would reflect a 10% increase in those rates and cost approximately $7,300 per year. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second,
Questions?
I think we just a comment, we discussed this a little bit in facilities, and I think we felt this was kind of fair and reasonable in the fact that, you know, he's willing to work with the district, and I think he only came to us with this issue because he was experiencing it, not because he wanted more. So I think it's a fair and reasonable for the remainder of the contract, in my opinion.
I agree. When you have somebody doing a great job for you, you want to keep them, right?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thanks. Next, we move to our Comcast Business Services E-rate service agreement. That Mr. Holtzman or Nick?
That is me, Mr. Smith.
Okay, thanks.
This is for the board's approval. This is our Comcast business internet service at Alma's house. I'm asking for approval for pre-E-rate price of $244.85 per month. And that is for 250 megabytes down and 25 megabytes up of internet at Alma's house. We are using the E-rate method for the commercially available business class internet option, and that has some guidelines that it must cost less than $3,600 a year. And it does have a minimum down 100 megabytes and 10 megs up. For Alma's house, due to the cameras for security, the access control, and the phones at that house, we're bringing all of that information back to the district so that we don't have to purchase additional phone service and or recorders or access controllers or wireless controllers or firewalls for that location. So with that, we do need that increased upload speed, which does cost a little bit more. But keep in mind, with that cost of $244.85, the district share of that is about $50 a month. So I'm asking for approval for this for Alma's house for this 1-year contract.
Okay. So the motion is to approve Comcast Business Services E-rate service agreement for business internet at 324 West 4th Street pending solicitor approval. You said, I think we already have solicitor approval. That's correct.
We do have solicitor approval. That is correct.
Okay, motion.
Move to approve.
second,
Okay, questions?
So it says service term 36 months, but you said it's a 1-year contract.
Yes, it is a 1-year contract. Where does it say that at? Was that Mrs. Harold?
Yes, I'm reading it right below the introductory identification, location.
page 1.
Yeah, right on the first page, it says service term 36 months.
First page.
Under primary.
Okay, that is a typo and that should only be for 12 months. So I will have them change that. So I guess I would ask for approval for this contract pending that change for only 12 months. That's a good catch. I must have missed that.
Okay, and you're saying our cost is $50.
Yep, 80% of that is approximately $48.97 a month.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay, so do we have any other questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, purchase orders and bills for payment. Mr. Holtzman?
Yes, sir. And if it's okay with your permission, I would just do 1 through 3, but we can always break those apart if you desire.
Hey, that's fine. You can go ahead, 1 through 3.
Thank you, sir. So under item 1, we have purchase orders. That's for both the general fund and the cafeteria, as well as requisitions. Then also we have under item number 2 is JP Harris. These are exonerations of occupation and per capita taxes. Again, these are going back several years. We do not collect current taxes for those items, but these are collecting the delinquent taxes on behalf of the district. And then the final item is property assessment changes. These come out of the Franklin County tax office where they review different appeals for property assessments. And they have some changes there as well for the board.
Okay, so the first one is motion to approve the purchase orders for bills for payment as listed.
Move to approve.
Second. Okay. Can we do all three at once?
Yeah,
all
we're
three
gonna
at
do all
once?
three at one
Okay.
time, so.
All right, so motion to approve purchase orders for bills and payment as listed. And approve occupation and per capita tax exonerations. Then approve property assessment change made by Franklin County Assessment Office. Do we have a motion for those?
I moved to approve.
Yep. And I'll second.
Any questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Holtzman. Now we move to
Thank you.
we move to Clayton Cabinet comments.
I mean, I just want to thank high school admin as well as the teachers. I mean, we had a very difficult couple days, and ultimately we want to express our condolences to the family. But again, it's a reminder to us, all of us, like you know, how important it is to continue to work together, and the importance of having a positive school community and those that are willing to support. We recognize that moving forward, we're going to continue to have to offer additional support to our learners and our faculty and staff. So just thank you to all.
Thank you. Any board member comments?
I'm looking at her message. The board meeting, originally on the schedule, we were scheduled to be at the senior high school on the 28th. That's when we normally recognize our any, you know, music performance awards as well as our winter athletes. However, we're going to have to probably reschedule that for the June meeting or another date. So it'll be a change of location. We are here on the 28th as opposed to being at the senior high school.
I just wanted to mention, I don't think either one of you mentioned in your comments to congratulate the boys basketball team.
Oh.
You know, on their run to the state, tournament. I just can't even imagine. Big thanks to Dr. McCallum and her admin and teachers for putting together staff buses. Like money appeared out of nowhere to send people. The cheerleaders enjoyed a charter bus to an away game. That doesn't happen but once in a lifetime. So it's just amazing, the community support. I know there was a call out for people to come to the school on Saturday night, right, when they got back. Mr. Hoffman, I saw him yesterday, said there was people there to greet them. I do have it. Mr. Hoffman was nominated for Coach of the Year. Second year in a
Wow.
row. And I believe one of our, I don't want to say the student's name without being sure. Are you aware of the student that was recognized also?
We have quite a
I think there's
Okay.
two
Several.
that were.
That's usually part of. I did not.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, but anyway, congratulations to Tom Hoffman. For those of us that have been around for a while, this is certainly well deserved. That coach has put in a lot of years with a lot of really tough seasons. So congratulations to all of them.
Any other comments from the board? Okay, well, after we adjourn, we will be going into executive session to discuss a personnel matter. And with that being said, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.